Day 4 on my way from Berlin to Aberystwyth for the good charity campaign against living miserably. It is midday again, and it's my host's fault, my first warm showers, because they're just wonderful people. And I got chatting to them forever and I couldn't stop. And then they showed me their place and it was beautiful. And today I have a longer journey ahead of me. It's 100k again, all the way to Lemgo. Bye. It's cooler today, only like 21 degrees, but the winds are still very strong. When I planned this trip, somebody told me, oh, you're going westwards. Oh well. And I didn't really understand what he was talking about. Now I do. West winds. All the way. Probably. Regrettably, I found out I actually have to use the bike path, which looks like this. But there's so much nice road just there. Not a chance. C'est très windy, hein? That's more like it. Welcome to Huberman, home of the famous Pied Piper. It's about to hurl it down, but only in about 10-15 minutes, so I'm like being cocky and winging it and hoping to find like a good spot to hide. There seems to be a big road closure here, which is kind of peaceful because as a bike rider, as a cyclist, you get everywhere. And somehow it's just an eerily beautiful spectacle to be next to a big road without cars at all, or sounds. Status quo. Pro tip: avoid kebabs. Go to Rewe or any supermarket. If they don't have a salad bar for fresh salad, get a wrapped salad, get a plastic salad, it doesn't matter, it's still better energy than a stinky, sloppy doner kebab or a pizza or whatever. I am now climbing But I'm not climbing on the big road. I'm climbing through a forest full of bird chirps, which is much nicer. Still climbing though on my last leg to my next overnight stay in Lemgo. Lemgo, Lemgo, Lemgo. Go, 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 go. This is an absolutely stunning area full of fruit trees and peaceful villages. Couldn't capture them all, but yeah, very chill vibe here. Today's tedious topic is grief. There is a reason for that. That is today, and that is because my wonderful friend and mother of another wonderful friend has passed away, and the funeral is today. So my heart goes out to you. I've been thinking about you all day, and I can't be there, but I am there in spirit, and that's why I want to dedicate this topic to today's cast, whatever you want to call it, because we all go through grief at some stage in our lives. It's just part of the human experience, and so therefore it is also part of our evolution, and our brain has been developed in order to have grief, to experience grief, and to deal with grief in a certain way. And what grief is for, it's a healing process. No one explains this better than Andrew Huberman. So I've linked to that particular podcast episode in the description. If you don't know, Andrew Huberman is
I'm a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford School of Medicine.
And I encourage you to listen to that episode and save it for a later date maybe, because it explains very well, for example, that what the newest medical knowledge is about grief and how we perceive it and how we experience it, and what happens if we don't, if we try not to experience it. And again, as usual, as with all things, the better we understand something, the better we are equipped to deal with even very, very painful experiences in our life. I think one big takeaway is that I want to leave you with today is we've all heard of these different stages of grief, and one very important thing to note is that we don't have to experience all of them, all of the different stages. We don't have to experience all of them in one particular order. And also, once we've experienced all of them, or only some of them, they might return. So there's no time frame in which all of these particular stages happen. The only thing that is true is that with time, the grief process will be completed if you let it happen. And how long that is, no one really knows. We know that trauma, the brain manages to deal with trauma within about a year. But that doesn't mean that you will then forget about the person that has died, or the pet that has died, or the person that has left you from a relationship, or you've left someone, or anything. Any particular grief is not restricted to death, effectively. And the brain often can't differentiate it is just grief. It is what it is. And not being a psychologist or a medical person at all, I don't want to say much more on the subject, but I do encourage you to have a listen to the Huberman podcast down in the comments. Thanks for taking the time. So that was a bit worrying. Somehow my front blades, I don't know shit, it wouldn't jump onto the big blade under while I was going uphill, so now it's worked out, but I don't think that should happen.